Well, hello and welcome to another Sunday night short. I believe this is number 45. Nothing gone on in the workshop this week. It's been pretty cold, I've been pretty tired, and we're apparently due for some more cold weather. I just looked at the thermometer out here and it's reading 3 degrees C, which is not a good working temperature. So I haven't done anything on the little grinder jig setup. I've got a couple of ideas how I might want to do that, and I've got to get some work done on the club bike. Yesterday I made a trip up to North Leicester Motorcycles, who are probably the premier English-speaking Marini specialist, and send parts all over the world. Anyway, I made a little trip up there to get some spares in person, and I may be able to show you some footage of the shop and some of the stuff up there. I've got a lot of editing to do with that and see just how much footage I've got that's usable. And then, because I've driven past the signs for it many times, myself and my friend Roy, who gave me a lift up to Leicester, dropped into the National Space Centre in Leicester, and I didn't film any footage. It was kind of too crowded and a difficult place to film in, and I'd have been dodging Daleks, as there was a little bit of a Doctor Who show up there as well. But that kind of, I don't know why, but that completely flattened me yesterday, so I haven't got out here and done anything until this afternoon. But I've got a couple of things arrive in the post this week, so I'll shift you over to the camera on the bench and we'll take a look at what turned up. Well, the first thing I've got to show you is a bunch more roller chain cutters that turned up on eBay, and they were just described as milling cutters, and I happened to spot them and realised what they were. This was the one I already had, which was the 5/8 inch pitch 9 to 12 tooth, and the only cutters in the picture that I could read the details of are these biggies, which are 1 inch pitch, and I just had relative sizes to go on to hope that some of the rest would be sizes I wanted. Well, as it turned out, there was one solitary 5/8 inch pitch cutter, and it's the same tooth count as the one I have already had. But if you look at the teeth, this one has been reground quite a few times, and this appears to be new old stock. So what we've got here is a pair of 1 inch, which is 13 to 19 and 20 tooth and up. If anyone wants 1 inch pitch chain cutters, let me know, because I think it's highly unlikely I'll ever be cutting sprockets that big. That's a 3/4 inch pitch. Again, I'm not likely to use it. It does get used on some big bikes. That's a 13 to 19. Now, these are both 1/2 inch pitch, but they're different roller sizes. So this is for 0.305 inch roller, and this is 0.335. And we've got 9 to 12s, 13s to 19s, and the 20 and ups. And all of these, but two, are Reynolds. And of course, Reynolds chains are the one of the well-known names that people still try and buy Reynolds chains, if at all possible. But there were a couple in here that almost look corroded, but I think it's just the way that they were finished. And that was the Coventry chain company. and that's got me my complete set plus 2 duplicates in that size. I've got a complete set plus 1 duplicate in the smaller roller. Then we're down to a what was this pitch? 0.375, which is what, that's 3/8, isn't it? And then we've got a 0.315 pitch, which off my head doesn't sound like a whole fraction in inches, but I seem to recall seeing the specification the other day for a 0.315. And also in the collection were a couple of horizontal milling cutters made by Cardinal, and they are a 0.317 and a 0.348 radius. Quite what the purpose was those in. They were in with the roller chain, so but I don't think they match up with any roller diameters in a sensible way. But anyway, they were in the collection, and all of that was the princely sum of £10, and then some £24 for shipping, which is fair enough, I guess, for the weight. I had to go and collect it. Fortunately, my local drop-off post office is just across the other side of the main road. But I actually I had a feeling this was what they were holding for me, having dropped a card through the front door. So I actually drove there rather than walking there, just as well. It was pretty heavy. And I have to say, the guy did a pretty good job of packing it, because it came in this tin box, complete with the remnants of some of the original boxes, and then that whole lot was wrapped in 2 layers of corrugated cardboard with a decent amount of tape. So yes, it's bulging at the bottom, but that's to get the cutters in. So that was a nice shipping job. So, like I say, if anybody has 5/8 pitch cutters in particular, and if anyone would like any of these duplicates and possibly do a trade, drop me a line. I mean, I know I can get sprockets, particularly plate sprockets, cut reasonably cheaply, but it's the oddball front sprockets that you sometimes end up making yourself, and it's not always possible to manufacture one out of an existing blank. Now, this is the order from Associated Production Tools that FedEx failed to deliver on the Friday, and I got it on the Monday. I didn't even have to arrange redelivery. So what we've got here, we'll start with the internal and external threading tool holders. This one did come in a box, but the cold weather had made it so brittle that it didn't survive the journey. Let's zoom in a little here. So these, you know, got nice fit and finish. It's a quality Torx screw. They come with the standard Torx tightening, and I bought, oh, let's have the external. Now, I've already got a small internal threading tool. I wanted the large one, but I know that that's a 16mm shank, but I need a 12mm shank in external in order to get the tool on centre height. See, the height of the tool ends up being about the same on the 16 and the 12, but I needed the 12mm shank to get the tip on centre. I've got a 16 and it's too high. And then I bought inserts to go with these, and these are partial profiles, so I've got sizes appropriate for sort of 1/2 to 1.5mm and 1.5mm up to, I don't know, 3 or 4mm pitch, and I've got them in internal and external. And I'd actually, in compiling the order, I'd made an error, and I'd got the wrong size insert for the internal boring bar, and this is where the excellent customer service came in, because I got an email the next morning. You know, I was just checking my email whilst making breakfast, and there was an email saying, "Did you realise you've got a mismatch? Can you contact us as soon as possible?" And so I was going to do that during the day, but in fact, as I was drinking my coffee, I got a personal phone call from them, and they said, "Don't worry about it, happens all the time, what do you want to do about it?" And they just substituted the appropriate parts, and the order went out, and you know, I would have had it pretty much the next day if the FedEx guy had waited a little bit longer at the front door after knocking. So I've used them before. They give excellent customer service. Quite happily use them again. So that's all the threading stuff. I'll put those away later. And they had on clearance offer a boring bar set. So this is a set of 3 solid carbide through-hole coolant reduced head boring bars that all take a CCMT or CCGT insert, but it's the smaller size than will go on the 12mm shank stuff, and that was I think this was on offer at £120, and even the normal non-reduced shank sets are like 135. But I've been wanting a really decent set of boring bars for some time. I've got boring bars, but they're not necessarily particularly good ones. And then I went on to eBay and hunted myself down a set of inserts, and these are it's 0602 size. These are a 0.2mm nose radius, and in the Seco nomenclature, don't know if we can get it to focus on here without too much glare, F1, it's a finishing insert, and it's a general purpose grade. It's quite easy to look up the Seco stuff, and you know, these were, I think, were about £15 delivered for a box of 10, which is a pretty good price. And that's more or less it. Oh, I think we've got one more item. My 3D taster that I bought and I didn't have a collet for. I went out and found a genuine Crawford collet, which was comparatively expensive. It was about £20 to get a Crawford collet rather than a you know, an import. I've usually found the imports to be pretty good, but because this is on a high precision centering instrument, I thought I'd try getting one of those, and at some stage we'll stick that in the mill and see just how good the run out is, and perhaps check my spindle again for run out, as when I bought the mill I did have to do a little bit of clean up on the taper. So that's about it for now. Keep promising we'll maybe get some more machining done, but at the moment it is rather weather dependent. Anyway, hope to see you all next time.